Welcome into another video in my series where we're going through and testing all of the weapons inside of Modern Warfare 3 to see just how viable these weapons are for us to be using inside of our Modern Warfare 3 Zombies game mode. This is going to include the aftermarket parts, the aftermarket conversion kits, as well as the MW2 weapons. So if you're new around here and you like to see how weapons perform inside of Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, make sure you are subscribed with those bell notifications turned on so you're not going to miss out any future uploads from myself on Modern Warfare 3 Zombies. And I couldn't be happier to say, as the channel grows, it provides me more opportunities to be able to give back. So the next goal is 4,000 subscribers. Once we reach that goal, that will unlock our very next Black Ops 6 giveaway. Super excited to be able to do this, and I wouldn't be able to without the support of each and every one of you. So thank you so very much. Also, down below in the description, you will find the link for my streams. I stream on Mondays and Thursdays, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I stream everything from custom zombies to other zombie-related games and generally have a ton of fun and love to have you guys come and hang out in the streams. Now in today's video, we get to do something that I truly enjoy doing and something that you all have set the bar extremely high for. So today, we're going to be doing a viewer suggestion with a very specific build for an MW2 assault rifle, the ISO Hemlock. So today we're going to be taking a look at the ISO Hemlock, taking it through all three tiers, taking on bounty contracts all the way through to see just how viable this weapon is to be using inside of your Modern Warfare 3 Zombies games. The special catch to today's video is we're running a specific build on the weapon that was suggested. So that is something that is very specific to this build and was suggested, so we're going to be doing that. So without further ado, let's get to the ISO Hemlock review video today. Alright, welcome into today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I truly appreciate the support. Now in today's video is something I am super excited to do and something I truly enjoy doing, and I really look forward to these, and these are viewer suggestions. So today is a viewer suggestion for the ISO Hemlock with a very specific build, so stick through the video for the build at the end of the video for that. And also, as part of the build, I was told to put on mags of holding. Now, normally when I do a weapon testing video, I do not put on mags of holding until we are in tier 3 and it's near the end to test out how it performs. However, the suggestion was to equip mags of holding. So right off the start, we're going to put on our perks with no additions to make the weapon any stronger, aside from Deadshot Daiquiri as a mouse and keyboard player. I do enjoy the extra critical damage that it gives us, and we're going to be taking this on at white rarity with no additions to the weapon, no ammo mods, no pack-a-punch, but like I said, we do have mags of holding on that from the beginning, as that was suggested. Now, the ISO Hemlock has been one of my favorite weapons to use, even going back into MW2 days when I played DMZ. It was just an overall weapon I really enjoyed using. I felt it to be really solid in all situations. Definitely a weapon that I enjoyed using. So seeing a suggestion to run the ISO Hemlock was definitely something that I was excited to get to. And we finished off our first bounty contract of the day by boxing because I ran out of ammo. But we did pretty good, and I could already tell right off the hop with the critical shot damage I was seeing on our first bounty contract of the day that this ISO Hemlock was definitely something that had intrigued me to see how it would perform as we proceed to increase the damage output on the ISO Hemlock and see how it does on bounty contracts as, you know, we move through the match, increasing the damage output, dealing with stronger and stronger bounties as we go. And this was one that had me intrigued. So now we've visited Pack-a-Punch and we've increased the damage output on the ISO Hemlock to just Pack-a-Punch. We still have no ammo mods and we still have no tools on it, and I could already see the first few critical shots on our Mimic that the damage output Pack-a-Punch had done to the ISO Hemlock was dramatic. So just visiting Pack-a-Punch, you could already see how much easier it was to take out that Mimic inside of tier 1 with the, the damage output increased by only visiting Pack-a-Punch. So we were able to clear out the riffraff. You can see the tier 1 zombies are just not an issue at all, especially being pack-a-punched inside of tier 1. Definitely not a struggle. So the next thing to do was to throw on Legendary Tool and Shatter Blast and grab our third bounty contract of the day inside of tier 1. And at this point, I was really excited to get over to the bounty and see how this ISO Hemlock would perform, in that we are about max damage inside of tier 1, and I was not disappointed in the least. That Mangler, I think he tried to turn around, but he couldn't even turn before he was dead. So at this point, I made a beeline for a bounty contract inside of Tier 2, seeing how that last bounty performed inside of Tier 1. I was excited to get into Tier 2 and see how this ISO Hemlock is going to perform on a bounty contract being Pack 1. We're not increasing any of the damage output at all from what we saw on our Tier 1 bounty. I opened up a loot, and that must have been the strongest case opening ever, because it took out my bounty contract. I don't know why that happens. So the next thing to do is grab another bounty inside of Tier 1 or Tier 2, sorry, and hope that this one doesn't auto-complete itself when I open up a crate. And it didn't, thank goodness. We got another Mimic today, and you could already see just how viable this weapon is going to be inside of Tier 2. Being Pack 1, we had a team come and drive into our Mimic, which was pretty funny to watch. Took out the Mimic bounty contract inside of Tier 2, being Pack 1 legendary, and honestly, that was not much of a struggle at all. So at this point, I was really kind of eager to get the damage output increased again by visiting Pack-a-Punch inside of Tier 2, and then taking off to grab a bounty in Tier 2 to see what the ISO Hemlock's damage output and how it performs now against a bounty inside of Tier 2, in that we are now Pack 2 legendary with Napalm, and we saw how well it performed inside of Tier 1 when we were Pack 1 legendary with Shatterblast, not Napalm, my bad. So I was curious to see how it would perform. We got a Disciple, which I do not like, but holy smokes, was this just a non-issue. I was able to just stand here and just fire at will at our Disciple and easily complete that bounty contract inside of Tier 2 with the ISO Hemlock. I was really impressed. This build, by the way, thank you so much for the weapon suggestion. I was really looking forward to making this video when I saw your comment, so I wanted to mention that. Thank you. And the build you have shoots dead straight. It handles really well. I definitely don't feel like a slug, so I feel like you've done a good job with the build, so thank you for that. And then we are off to Tier 3, as I was interested to see how it would perform. But on my way in, there was a player down where I stopped to grab my perk. So I figured, well, you know what? Let's get this player up. We'll visit the Wonder Machine. We'll grab the last perk that I was missing, which was Elemental Pop. We'll put out a decoy and get this player on their way. Because, you know, going down in Tier 3 sucks. Just plain and simple, it sucks. Especially if you have to plead. You've now lost all of your perks. So when you get back up inside of Tier 3, it can be a real struggle. I tried to drop him a self-revive, because I knew he was out. But he got up and booked it over here. Apparently he had enough of the zombie meat to get himself a dog, so he booked it over to the doghouse and got himself a dog. Very smart play for sure. But then I wanted to drop him myself just to make sure, you know, in case he got himself in another situation, he would be good to go. So he saw that, picked it up, and that was awesome. Time to head off into Tier 3 and see what this ISO Hemlock can do. Now, Tier 3 had been pretty empty for most of the match, so I was kind of hoping that when I got in here, I might be able to get off to a ritual and possibly replenish the PAP 3 crystal and legendary tool I brought in today. But lo and behold, the rituals were gone. So I wanted to show you crowd control at Pack 2 legendary with Shatterblast inside of Tier 3. So you guys can see just how viable the ISO Hemlock can be inside of Tier 3 if you're only Pack 2 with legendary and Shatterblast. You can see it a little bit of a struggle on the HVTs, but the standard zombies and the zombies in Tier 3, you are definitely able to handle the crowd control at Pack 2 inside of Tier 3 for sure. So the next thing to do was to throw on our PAP 3 crystal I bring in every single match, turn around and continue to show you some more crowd control, this time being Pack-a-Punch level 3, legendary with Shatterblast. You can see the difference it made going to Pack 3 on the Mimic with the critical damage increasing as we move the weapon to Pack 3. And you can see just how well it handled the crowd control. It was not much of an issue. You can see all the DNA strands in the background from all the zombies that we had shot with the ISO Hemlock. So I definitely feel like this is a valuable option for crowd control inside of Tier 3. So at this point, it's time to head off and grab ourselves a bounty contract inside of Tier 3 to see how well this ISO Hemlock will perform against a bounty contract inside Tier 3, because they are the strongest enemies in the game, aside from the Stormender and Dark Ether type stuff. But I wanted to show you, we had a what was it we got? We had a Mimic again inside of tier 3 for a bounty contract, and just wanted to show you guys this whole fight to show you how viable the ISO Hemlock can be when you're dealing with a bounty contract and all of the riffraff that shows up while you've got your bounty and you're trying to handle that. This was a weapon that I felt confident using inside of tier 3. I felt confident in its the weapon's ability to dish out the damage to either my bounty contracts, crowd control, or just the general congestion that you get inside of tier 3. So this is a weapon that definitely I would recommend us all giving a shot. It's going to be viable for us to be using inside of our games, definitely. Is it up there as one of the most OP weapons inside of Modern Warfare 3 Zombies? For myself, personally, no. I do not think it is up there in that category as one of the most overpowered weapons in the game right now. I do feel, however, saying that this ISO Hemlock is definitely a viable option to be using across all 3 tiers inside of Modern Warfare 3 Zombies. I did notice that it definitely feels a lot stronger, and this will go for all weapons. If you're able to fire off critical shots, you get a lot more damage, I feel, out of the ISO Hemlock than non-critical shots. Which is one of the reasons why I'm going to category this one a little bit below OP, is just because you definitely need to be fairly accurate. You want to get your critical shots with the ISO Hemlock if you can, and when you do, the damage rate is substantial for sure. So that is definitely awesome to see, and how I feel about the ISO Hemlock is all right there. That's pretty much sums up my feelings on the ISO Hemlock. So then it was off to see Zhorde, the Guardian of the Arches, and he was already being engaged by another team. Unacceptable. Another player was here trying to take on our Zhorde, Guardian of the Arches. I had to hop in and take over the fight, as you know, Zhorde is our good friend, and we are the ones that deal with Zhorde on a regular basis. And that player went down dealing with Zhorde, so I grabbed the loot as he was down. I was going to circle back and get him up, but he had already used his self-revive at this point and got himself up. Not there, but I turned over here to get him, and you see he was already back up with a self-revive. So good opportunity to again show how we're able to clear out the riffraff, the crowd control inside of tier 3 with the ISO Hemlock at max damage. Triple pack legendary with Shatterblast, and I've been enjoying using Shatterblast recently. If you guys are struggling to have armor plates inside of tier 3, definitely I recommend giving Shatterblast a go, as it seems to be able to generate a ton of plates from when Shatterblast goes off and injures the zombies. So that's at least my knowledge and my experience so far with Shatterblast overcoming, you know, the issue with just lack of plates inside of tier 3 overall. So that's just a heads up for you guys to see. But you can see how viable this is, like, to handle. Just, we've got, you know, 2 HVTs in the area, we got 2 manglers in the area. We're definitely able to keep dishing out the damage to the manglers. I mean, you can see how fast his health bar is dropping as I'm getting the critical shots on the mangler. We finished one right there, finished off the dog that's coming at us. I just really enjoyed using this weapon. You can see it doesn't really have much in the way of recoil with this build. It shoots fairly straight, fairly easy to control the weapon, which is awesome. So I wanted to grab another bounty contract and see if we could pull ourselves a Mega Abomination bounty and see how this ISO Hemlock will perform against a Mega Abomination bounty contract inside of tier 3. And lo and behold, we got another Mimic. And this one was the one that spawns in this building. Like I said last time, I had this Mimic in this location for a bounty contract inside of tier 3. He doesn't seem to be able to move. He just kind of stands there and takes the damage. He fires off his little pulse attack at you repeatedly, but this bounty contract is definitely one of the easiest ones to do inside of tier 3, as the Mimic just does not seem to move when you get one. Another ray gun in here in the reward rifts, which has been strange. I've been getting a lot of ray gun in the reward rifts. So now we have the Bathhouse Bouncer, Mega Abomination. I forgot his name, forgive me. Except no, he disappeared when I looked at him. So I guess the Bathhouse Bouncer is not okay with being a part of our testing. So we're going to have a conversation with the Mega Abomination School and get the Bathhouse Bouncer on board so that he knows what's going on, because that's just absolutely unacceptable. So we grabbed another bounty contract inside of tier 3 and finally got myself a Mega Abomination. No, I didn't get a Mega Abomination. He died as I came floating in, which was truly, I don't know why that happens. I really don't. But at this point, I was really excited to check the loot because, you know, free loot inside of tier 3 is always good. We got a PAP2 crystal and a self-revive out of the deal, which was not bad at all. And then there was the Mega Abomination in the area where the ammo is here inside of tier 3. And I believe this one is who we are calling Pedro the Palace Protector. So we're taking on Pedro here today in his home, his proper home. We've got the proper name. I'm sure Pedro will appreciate us taking the time to address him by his, you know, proper name in the proper location. I'm having too much fun with the names of these Mega Abominations, let me tell you. Oh my goodness. So here we are. Pedro's firing up one of his last laser attacks. You can see just how strong this ISO Hemlock is on the Mega Abominations when they're firing up their laser attack. It is truly a viable option to be using on bounty contracts inside of tier 3, crowd control inside of tier 3. Definitely this is a weapon that we can all be using. But like I said, you know, there are other weapons out there that are going to be stronger than this, but that does not make this weapon poor or something that cannot be used. It is definitely one that I enjoyed using. It is definitely one that I feel is strong enough for me to recommend us all to be using it inside of Modern Warfare 3 Zombies. So that is just awesome. I love the fact that inside of Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, at any given time, there's typically between 30 and 40 weapons that are viable options for us to be using inside of Modern Warfare 3 Zombies. I do feel like a lot of the times, the weapon choices that quote-unquote are meta or quote-unquote the best guns inside of Modern Warfare 3 Zombies are a little bit, you know, player-specific. As personally for myself, I would prefer to be using an SMG for the movement speed, the fire rate, and overall, that is a personal preference of myself. Whereas, you know, another player may prefer to be using an assault rifle inside of their games, or a handgun for the movement, or an LMG for the ammo count, or a shotgun. It's one of the great things I really do enjoy about Modern Warfare 3 Zombies is we're not kind of limited to, you know, one or two meta weapons that just everybody's running the same weapons every single match. I really enjoy the fact that there's I feel like a solid balance across the weapons inside of Modern Warfare 3, including the weapons that they brought over from MW2. That there's just lots of weapons to be used inside of this game, and that's one of the things that I really do enjoy about Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, is there's just so many different ways to play this mode. There's so many different opportunities to have a different experience every single match you go into play. For sure. So I'm really enjoying Modern Warfare 3 Zombies. Now, having said that, I am a hardcore fan of round-based zombies, so I am super ecstatic and really looking forward for Black Ops 6 and the opportunity to bring you guys just a ton of content on Black Ops 6. Now, on that note, going forward with content on the channel, I would love to hear your guys' feedback on possibly some challenges you would like to see me try inside of Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, or maybe just some really, really horrible weapons that you'd like to see me, you know, struggle with and have a run with. But let me know down in the comments what you'd like to see going forward. Well, obviously, we will continue with the weapon reviews. And then that leads me to the conversation for Black Ops 6 content. I would love to know what type of content you all are wanting to see from me for Black Ops 6. So here we are. We made it to the exfil. Truly amazing run. I really enjoyed this. Thank you again for the suggestion. It was a ton of fun. Now, this is the specific build that I was given to run today on the ISO Hemlock on screen right now. So if we all feel that we need to make some changes to this build for us all to have an amazing ISO Hemlock to use inside of Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, then let's all work together down below in the comment section and make that happen. Now, the camo that I used was found under all camos, and it is now my favorite one. It is from the Get Higher event, and it is the Synth Bust camo. So that's the camo that I ran today, as people are asking. And if you're wondering about the blueprint that was on the ISO Hemlock for today's run, I will show you that. It is called New Blood. So if you head into your weapons and you head over to assault rifles and you scroll over to the right to find your ISO Hemlock, you will see the blueprint that I ran today is right here, and it is called the New Blood. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.